maybe we should also just talk a little bit about encouraging people to make sure that they're not just giving away their digital stuff for free. There's really interesting things going on at the moment where, coming back to that notion again of people in the service industry, particularly in the yoga space or the Chinese medicine space, where we feel like our legacy, or we feel like our purpose is to be of service to others. And that's why we're attracted to these kinds of jobs in the first place. And I think sometimes in the same way that we can feel a little bit awkward about marketing ourselves, we could have a predisposition to undervalue what it is that we're giving, especially if you're going to be investing all of this time and maybe some money into equipment, and then you're going to be putting your classes online for free, you've got to kind of think about the broader impact of what that is. You know, Robbie and I have been having discussions about just different things that we've been seeing in different studios and different offerings that people have been doing and what they've been setting their prices at. And I think that there's a bit of undercutting going on. So if you've got a robust studio that's going to be putting all of their online classes up for free, what's that going to do for the yoga teacher that's trying to survive in these really interesting financial times by putting their evening class up every day or have their 5 classes a week up online? They're trying to get an audience, and someone else is doing it for free, and they need to charge money for what they're doing so that they can have a living. I don't know. Do you want to speak to that at all?
Yeah. I think, at the end of the day, free yoga already exists and existed long before last year's business. Like, if you wanted a free yoga class, you just go to YouTube, find yourself some free yoga. So then if you're a yoga teacher or a yoga studio, you need to ask yourself the question is, why is X coming to practice yoga with me instead of doing yoga at home for free on YouTube? Because you have something of value, whether that is that you've got wonderful sequences, whether your studio gives them calm, they like having 60 minutes away from home where it's quiet, it's no phone time, there's no technology involved, they're not doing, all those sort of things. You have a value. So then when we went into this, yoga from home due to circumstances beyond our control, you really got to ask yourself, why do you think your value went from something to nothing? And if it's just out of compassion, people have got a compassionate option, which is to opt for free existing yoga on YouTube. You can go and do that anytime, and there's some great stuff on YouTube. Don't let me discount that at all. But you still have a value. So you need to keep that value. I don't think it's not uncompassionate. Is that the opposite of compassionate? Uncompassionate?
Yeah, or
it's not uncompassionate.
Arrogant.
To charge people to come and do your yoga class. And if they can't afford to, they have that power, that agency to say, hey, can you pause my membership for a couple of weeks? Or they just won't buy a class. And if you're worried that all your students will disappear and never come back, then I think you need to have a closer look at yourself, because you do actually have value. That's why you had students in the first place. But look for free ways that you can connect with them to remind them of your value. That's your email list.
Good one.
That's, using your social medias, or if you've got private Facebook groups, use that free space. Call them, text them, offer them some extra support if you want to support people. But that doesn't mean giving away your product for free. And then I think on the flip of that, digital yoga, I don't think anyone in the world is pricing the same as in-person yoga.
No, I don't think they are.
And that's just a reality. But I mean, we're the same. Your teacher training is cheaper digitally than it is in person. Pardon me. Which makes an in-person product a premium. And so we can appreciate that. So it's already harder doing this online to make a living. And then I think, I don't want to sound like I'm putting a union hat on, but the moment you offer something for free, you're saying that all yoga isn't worth anything. And if there's a yoga studio,
big statement. Yeah,
Well,
it's true. I agree with that.
and then what
Yeah.
does that do? What does that do to, yes, at its heart, yoga is about self improvement or wellness or whatever label we want to put on it. But the it's also a business, and I'm not
Mm.
saying it needs to be over commercialized, but people need to eat. People got to pay rent on their studios, or they've got to pay for their Zoom memberships, whatever your costs are. So it is still a business, and I think the moment, what I'm seeing with some studios is, there's one in particular that has got every time it's gone into lockdown, their entire curriculum is free, every single class,
Wow.
and whilst that
I
is,
wonder if I wonder if a lot of people are partaking, because when you give something away for free, it has no value to the person that's taking it. So,
well, yeah, you can just log off too because you don't care.
yeah.
Oh, this class is dull.
Yeah, like it doesn't have that value for the person that's receiving it if it's free. I have a different example for this. I also work as an assistant acupuncturist at a public school learning clinic where the public can come and just get incredibly cheap acupuncture. But because it's so cheap, often people just don't turn up, or they cancel at the last minute because it's not, they don't value it high enough. So people can be a little more disrespectful if they know that there's not that much on the line for them. Whereas if someone has paid, even if it's $10 for a class, they're probably going to be a little bit more present for that class because they've paid for it. So the exchange is there. And I think that this kind of comes back to how uncomfortable people can get around money, but there has to be a fair exchange of energy. So sometimes I like to talk about it in that language, that if you're giving a service, that service, the energy that you are expending or offering has to be met with energy on the other end. Otherwise, these are the places in which we start to bleed out. These are the places in which we start to begin burning out because we haven't received, what's the right word? We haven't been ruminated. That's not the word.
Ruminated.
We haven't been met.
Which?
We haven't been met energetically in the way that can be balanced out.
No.
Remunerated.
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 Yeah. Not
That took a while.
Oh, but I stuff that word up all the time.
Do
Rumination is, I think, about
to think. Ruminating thoughts is to have like anxious thoughts that never stop.
I think it's also something about a dairy cow's production of milk.
Ruminate?
Ruminating.
Really?
Yeah, it's definitely a dairy word. Definitely.
Wow.
Ruminating.
Maybe it's got something to do with the way that the milk swirls around, like thoughts swirl around in your mind.
Could. 4 stomachs.
Yeah. You thought of Skillshare so much faster than this word that I'm not going to say again.
Remuneration.
Remuneration. Everyone needs to be remunerated for their offerings.
Or financially.
Otherwise, at a certain point, you'll be like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why am I staying up until 8 p.m. at night to do a free Zoom class for people? I don't want to do it anymore. I'm done.
Yeah. And I don't know if I really answered that earlier question of, marketing my business in today's age. But if you think that giving away all your yoga classes for free is the best marketing exercise, you're always going to be catching your tail and you are never going to catch it. I think, in the old in-person way, it was always discounted introductory. You could sort of come to as, you would have seen those sort of like 2-week passes.
Yeah, introductory passes.
Yeah, which was, it was paid. It was at a great price, but, people could get a really good taste of what was available at X studio and to see if this is where I want to be. And those same sort of concepts can be applied to online classes, whether that's, maybe you could give away a class, come to a class or something similar. Mm-hmm. Here is a discount, or here is a class pass. I know that sort of there are yoga digital platforms and pieces of software that allow for the same sort of buy a pass, come to as many as you want during the week sort of thing. But yeah, giving it away for free. I mean, that goes to any business. No business has succeeded by giving themselves away for free.
No. And on a deeper level, I think if you are doing that, or you think you should be doing that, then some time does need to be spent having a good look at where your self-worth is sitting at. And that's really intense. But to be able to kind of be on screen and speak about the things that you're passionate about and feel confident about the things that you have to offer means that you've really got to believe in yourself. You've really got to back yourself. And you've got to know that what you're offering is worth people's remuneration. Remuneration. Damn it.
So close.
So close. Right? Because if you don't have that, you'll think that it's okay for everyone to just get all the best of you and for you not to get paid.
I think people can pick up on it. You can pick up, if you meet someone who's got low self-esteem, you'd see it in patience. You'd see it with, you can walk down the street and sometimes you can spot it. And,
yeah, I do.
If you can't believe in your, this sounds like I'm preaching, but you do have to believe in yourself to get someone else to value you the same way you should value yourself. That's that same exchange of energy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely gone off on a tangent here. Definitely.